Fantastic thumbs up. Okay. He says that, I'm going to make an arrow to come back to this. Okay. He says that anger is risky, which I've already conceded. But risky is not the same as ineffective. I mean, it very much does work. The problem is that there are some people who, Jesus is a cunt, who misuse anger, who aren't making sure they're informed of the facts, who aren't making sure their opponent's position is ridiculous. But the problem is in how they go about it, not with the actual anger or mockery. And he says we're overusing it. He gave a personal anecdote, which may very well be true. But like I said, the problem is bad philosophy on the part of people who are misusing anger and mockery. There are popular diplomat blogs, and like I said, for the good cop, bad cop routine to work, we need them. They have good things to say. There are many very intelligent diplomats out there. But what I find a lot of times when I talk with people in the movement, when I'm giving talks and some such, it's the accommodationalists, and this doesn't apply to Ben, but they're often saying that we're hurting. What the firebrand's doing is detrimental, whereas the firebrands are saying what we do works, what you do works too. And that's the position I'm going with. But I think we need more firebrands to alter the environment. And I think it's a very weak position that we're hurting anything. I mean, compare the growth of Skepticon. I mean, the Amazing Meeting is the most popular skeptic meetup in the world. They had 1,300 in their 8th year. We had 1,000 in our 3rd. And we are much more confrontationalist leaning. That message really does draw people in. It's why PZ is the most popular. Ridicule is also why so many people look to Jon Stewart and The Daily Show for their news. I mean, ridicule really does bring people in, and it helps drive points home. Okay, he says, on people entrenching themselves en masse in church, but they vote quietly. It doesn't end with them being entrenched in church. Like I said, we're a social species, and we have to interact with one another. They have to come out of church eventually. And I compare, once that happens, to racism in the 1940s, where once we start ridiculing racism, we have a split where some of them adopt the more enlightened position, and others just entrench themselves more, making them look even more ridiculous since they're on the side that isn't supported by the facts, which is a win-win for us. And I really think it's the same way with religion. They can entrench themselves all they want and produce increasingly ludicrous and ridiculous arguments, but that just plays into the role of mockery and anger when it's used properly. He talked about we're confronting a host of issues, and good Lord, do I agree that scientists suck at spreading their message. They really do. They need to get better at that. Thank FSM for Eugenie Scott.
Who's a diplomat, by the way?
She is a diplomat.
Wait a minute.
Who may speak at Skepticon 4. Anyway, but the problem is, they're all, the one thing in common with all of them that stops me from making a generality here is they're all irrational. And that's what I said before. The problem is unreason and irrationality and people not being made to pay a price for it. And the reason religion draws so much of our fire is it's the only one out of climate science, pseudoscience, homeopathy, that is telling people it's okay to be irrational. In fact, it's noble to be irrational. So that's why it draws all of our fire, and that's why it needs to be beaten down with a little more ferocity. And I think that touches on all of Ben's points. Do I have anything else to say? No, I think that's good so far. Thank you.